And I will finish up with a couple slides on the property market before I pass this to Judith. But basically, I like to share with you two independent reports. The first one is from Cushman & Wakefield. This is a global report on commercial properties, and they recommend Spain as the third place in the world to invest. Then they drill down, and this is some of the things that Judith is going to show you when she shows the properties. We do have some student housing, which gives very good returns. And we have some retail and convenience properties. So again, just following some of the recommendations by Cushman & Wakefield. We also have the CBRE report for residential properties in Europe, and they recommend Spain as the fourth country in Europe to invest in residential. And then they drill down into the cities, and they have Madrid and Barcelona. Madrid is ranked 5th city in Europe, and Barcelona 6th. So this has nothing to do with the golden visa, just for investment. But again, you could put the golden visa with it if you would invest at least 500,000 euros in properties. And I will finish up with a short presentation of Madrid and Barcelona for the ones that have not been in Spain yet. Madrid goes by ring roads. So basically it has the M30, M40, M50. And pricing is, of course, depending on location, but the closer to the center, the more expensive. So you could go from center of Madrid around 10,000 US dollars per square meter to outside the 5th ring road around 2,000 US dollars per square meter. So we have opportunities in different locations, but that's the pricing. So there is a big price variation. In Barcelona, which is the second biggest city in the country, they have districts. The most famous district is District 1, which is called San Martí. Pricing is similar to Madrid Center, around 10,000 US dollars per square meter. And I want you to notice, if you have not been in Spain, I want you to notice the picture. We don't have the high skyscrapers like you have in Singapore. So basically, the construction regulation by the government is maximum 6 floors in Barcelona, maximum 7 floors in Madrid. So most of the projects we have are small projects of 12 units, 14 units. We don't have a building with 30 floors going up because this does not exist by regulation. And I will finish with this slide. And this is the reason why the government has announced that they're going to close the property route for golden visa. These are the government statistics for the last 20 years. The national statistics, the Madrid statistics and Barcelona statistics, you can see they are very similar. But if I take the national statistics, for example, until 2008, property growth was over 10%. So most of the Spanish people kept investing in property. Then from 2008 to 2014, it was the global financial crisis. Banks did not give loans because banks did not give loans. People that were buying with loans could not pay the loans. So the property pricing went down drastically. And since 2014, the economy has recovered. It's been a steady recovery until COVID came. You can see it was around 5%. When COVID came for 2 years, the pricing went down slightly, like around 1% in each of the 2 COVID years. But you can see that after COVID, it has really started to look like the pre-2008. So it's almost 10% nationally. Madrid is over 10%. And the government is trying to slow this down. So as a public announcement, they have communicated that they will close the property route. It's purely political information because the fact is that golden visas are less than 0.5% of the total properties sold in the country. So with this move, it's not really going to impact, but politically sounds very good. Well, that's what they are doing to try to keep people having faith in the government. All right, so up to here is my presentation. I'm going to pass it to Judith, and then at the end, if you have some questions between Judith and me, we will be able to try to answer them the best we can.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'd like to summarize about the Golden Visa. So the Spain Golden Visa is a very simple program. It is a visa by investment. It is one of the most popular programs in the world because it's simple and it's quite fast. You get the Golden Visa card within 4 to 6 months of the time of investment. But the Golden Visa card is the cherry on the pie. So the properties themselves, as I go through, you will realize that they are worth investing for diversification of funds in general. The great thing I think about the Spain Golden Visa, so here at IPS, we've been selling properties in Asia Pacific. So we've been selling Australian properties, UK properties, and also European properties in Asia Pacific for 15 years. And I do find that Spain is one of the best places to invest in because there's no stamp duty surcharge. So unlike foreigners buying in Singapore, there is now a 60% stamp duty surcharge. In Australia, the stamp duty surcharge ranges from 7 to 11%. And in other parts of the world as well. Also, the laws in terms of investing in property, whether you can, who you sell to, who you buy from, is the same whether you are a Spanish or a foreigner buying or investing in Spain. And I think that that is one of the very attractive factors of investments into Spain. It is also Barcelona and Madrid are some of the best places to invest in Europe at the moment. There is actually quite a boom in terms of property prices, and it is on its way going up. And in terms of potential capital, so that it has a good impact on your capital appreciation. And also you own the property freehold. So you own the property in perpetuity. You can pass that on to your children. And yeah, most of the properties there are freehold, all of them. So basically we produce a dossier, which I will send to you after this webinar by email. And the dossier tables a range of properties. There are around, I would say, 20 properties in the current dossier. These are some of the ones that was in June last year, and these are some of the ones recently. And I will go through a few in terms of the questions you can ask us on the property dossier as well. So what we have for investment, as I mentioned earlier, they are A-grade properties by A-grade, AAA actually tenants, such as Planoil. So this is a gas station in Salamanca. It's just 2 hours out of Madrid. And it is in a very strategic area to place a petrol station. And what we really like is the yield is 5%. And also they have a good tenant. So this tenant is Planoil. They have actually over 200 gas stations now. This was an old screenshot of their website. They have many customers filling up oil. They are one of a low-cost petrol station, and therefore they are very popular. They advertise actually their petrol station prices. You can find them on Facebook, on Instagram. And this petrol station is already tenanted and it's already ready. So I'll play the video. And as you can see, it is already a ready petrol station, ready for investment. And so what will happen is you own the land, you own the property, you don't own Planol. Planol are your tenants, so whether they open on Saturdays or how many staff they have, that is kind of not so relevant. In a way that they are, as long as they are a good tenant and they pay rent on time, and they pay a good yield. And so with all of the properties as well, we have a calculation, and the calculation basically is a very clear calculation on your outlay. So basically, you have your 1.05 million cost. By the way, if this is for Golden Visa, it entitles 2 Golden Visas because it's 1 million. And in terms of acquisition cost, the taxes, the notary, the registry, and the total cost, we also tabulate the annual cost. So in this case, the council tax, there's no, the community fee is paid by the tenant. Medical insurance, this one is for 9 people because this was a calculation we did for 2 families investing in this property, accounting and tax. And you'll find that all these annual costs are more than covered by your yield. So after 24% tax and after these costs, you get a net yield of 3.18%. Actually, it should be more because this is it depends on the number of people for medical insurance, because medical insurance is a necessary for maintaining the Golden Visa. We also come up with an exit strategy. For example, if this property were to increase by 4% per annum in terms of capital appreciation, after capital gains tax, after this acquisition cost, which we calculated earlier, including your appreciation, your annual net income, and also taxes, you would make around a 29% over 4 years. Now, one strategy could be for you to sell and then buy another property at the time of your next renewal. So that's something you can do to sort of trade and also draw out some equity from your property. We also have properties that you can live in. For example, this is a building in Moscaretta. It is actually just out of the 3rd Ring Road. It's a very strategic area. If your kids were to study in Spain, this would be one that I would recommend because it's on this gray train line which takes you to the university areas. And it's a very charming road. And again, we do a calculation for you. This one is a very attractive supermarket. The tenant is Planol. It is on Santiago. It is in Santiago de Compostela, where the pilgrims go for your Camino Santiago, and it is 1 million tourists pass this area every year, and this property is tenanted to Café supermarket. Café are one of the largest supermarket chains in Europe, and this contract has a duration of 25 years, mandatory compliance of 18 months, and the rental yield is 5.9%. So this is one that you can look at for investment. It is in a very strategic area. Again, this comes with a set of calculations as well. These particular investments, we call them Joy Living, are very popular investments. These are going to be tenanted to students. So they are repurposed properties that is done to maximize the yield, and it's operated by a company called Rooms Madrid, which would advertise and rent this out and facilitate the rental to students. So the yields you will find is typically more than 7%. We work with Rooms Madrid to sort of rent these out, and these are in very strategic areas where students and young professionals will typically rent and live. So these are all newly renovated apartments. Some are 5 bedrooms and some are 4 bedrooms, and they are usually very near a metro station, so about 100 meters away from a metro station. What happens is, so this is the metro station that is nearby. You see this property. It is only a short walk from the metro station. It's very strategic and it's optimized apartments. So they are renovated and detailed and furnished for students or young professionals to live in. Madrid is one of the center of education, not only for the Spanish, but also for Europe and more for Asians. In fact, also we have some Filipino clients who are already studying in Madrid. So it attracts a large number of students from all over the world. Also because Spanish is one of the most spoken languages in the world. So we find a lot of students from South America also study in Madrid. So there's more than 300,000 students that study in Madrid, and typically they look for accommodation such as this, and the yield is high and the occupancy is also very high for these accommodations. So this particular one, while it's sold actually, but it's still in my presentation, we will give you a new a dossier. At the moment, because of the announcement of the end of the Spain Golden Visa through property investments, investments are moving very quickly. And typically, these are the investments that our clients typically like because of the high yield. So in this case, this is 307,000. This is actually a property that is actually an attractive purchase, not for the Golden Visa. So if you're not buying for the Golden Visa, this is still an attractive investment. But if you need to, if for the Golden Visa, then the minimum investment will be 500,000. So in this case, we would match you with 2. And this one, the price is 307,000. Again, we calculate acquisition costs and annual cost, and you'll see that the yield, a gross yield, is 4.99%. The net yield is almost 5%, so 4.93%. Rooms Madrid takes a 20% management fee. In terms of sales price, we again project a 4% capital appreciation, though as Jesus mentioned, the charts earlier is much higher. And in terms of a property capital appreciation in Madrid on average, so a 4% we feel is prudent, including capital gains tax and what we have spent in terms of acquisition costs up here, the total cost. So there's an appreciation, annual income, and also total income. And in terms of profit, you would see in terms of our projections, a profit of about 100,000 for your 300,000 capital over the next 5 years. And again, what you could do is sell and buy something else around the time of your renewal of the Golden Visa. Any questions about the Spain Golden Visa while we sort of do a little bit of a recap? Or have we done quite a good a job? I'm going to go back to this slide to sort of mention a little bit of a strategy. So what we have done is a 5-year projection. Typically, a lot of our clients after 5 years may ask us, hey, our property is now has now increased in value. Can we sell it? The answer is yes. Do we have to buy something else? Yes. What is the minimum investment? 500,000, and you have to buy it around the time of the renewals. So before the end of the 5th card, I would say comfortably way before the end of the 5th card, the 2nd card, or the 5th year of the 2nd card, you can invest in another property, and so on and so forth. So that's a little bit of a strategy that we like, and we're pretty comfortable with the numbers. We feel that in this case, the yield is more or less de-risked for you. The properties are complete and they're sold to you complete. Any questions? So thank you for joining us today. For the clients in Southeast Asia, you can contact me. My name is Judith. My number is +6017 333 0099. And my email is Judith, Judith, at intprops.com. We have your details as you logged in. We will be sending you a copy of this presentation and also a copy of this dossier, of the properties. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we wish you a very, very good evening. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Good night to all.
Good night.